Hello friends, welcome to Shankar IAS Daily Newspaper Analysis. Today's date is 15/3/2024. Behind me are the list of articles that we are about to discuss today. Without much delay, let's get started. Look at this article from LiveMint. It says that trading volumes of cryptocurrencies have increased but still remain below the previous peak levels. The article is saying that Indian cryptocurrency market is not fully benefiting from the recent surge in Bitcoin prices. Heavy taxation and negative sentiments from the regulators have impacted the Indian crypto companies. Also, the expansion into other business lines is being considered by the crypto companies. This is due to regulatory uncertainty, taxation policies, and negative remarks from the government officials. This is all about the article given here. In this context, let us understand some basic concepts regarding this topic. First of all, let us know about the stand of Indian government with regard to cryptocurrencies. At first, RBI imposed a ban on cryptocurrencies. Then, Supreme Court slashed this curb and allowed crypto exchanges in India. Then in 2022 Union Budget, government announced 30% of taxation on cryptocurrencies. At present, RBI classifies cryptocurrencies as virtual digital assets. So it is legal to use cryptocurrencies in India. But note that they are not recognized as a legal tender by the government. There are no rules, regulation or any guidelines for settling disputes while dealing with the cryptocurrencies. So trading in cryptocurrency is done at investors' risk. This is because there is no central authority for regulating cryptocurrencies. Now let's move on to see about the digital service tax. In 2016, India announced 6% equalization levy on digital companies, but this levy was restricted only to the online advertisement services. So this tax was commonly known as digital advertising tax or DAT. In 2020, the scope of this tax was expanded to include a wide range of digital services, including e-commerce platforms. Any payment made by a non-resident in connection with an Indian user will attract 2% levy. This 2% taxation came to be known as Digital Service Tax or DST. Note that this digital service tax will be imposed on the non-resident companies only. So any company that has a permanent residence in India is excluded from this tax since it is already a subject to pay taxes in India. The main difference between equalization levy and digital service tax is that equalization levy is imposed only on online advertising services. On the other hand, digital service tax is imposed on e-commerce platform, which is very wide. Now we shall see the concerns associated with digital service tax. Experts suggest that DST can be passed on to consumers. The services provided by e-commerce companies may have increased prices which will affect Indian customers. The US is against this taxation. So this could pose a threat of retaliatory tariffs as similar tariffs were imposed by US on France. Further, it could turn into a digital trade war-like scenario and could harm India's information and communication technology industry. This DST was severely criticized by many countries as a unilateral measure that would result in double taxation. That's all about this article. With this, let's move on to the next discussion. Look at this article. India's wholesale price inflation decreased slightly to 0.2% in February, reaching to a 4-month low. This overall ease in WPI was attributed to a significant year-on-year decrease in the price of manufactured products, fuels and powers. Notably, inflation in primary food articles, especially vegetables like onion, tomato, recorded sharp increase. Despite these increases, the decline of prices in fuel and manufactured products helped to moderate the overall inflation rate. This is the crux of the article. With this background, let us learn few important indices to calculate inflation in the economy. Firstly, Consumer Price Index, that is CPI. It measures the overall changes in the price level of a basket of consumer goods and services that are household purchases. It is a crucial indicator for understanding the inflation and the cost of living. In India, CPI is particularly used with the 4 distinct types to cater different segment of population. So what are these types? Firstly, CPI for industrial workers. It focuses on the consumption pattern of industrial workers. It used to adjust the dearness allowance for the public sector employees and the workers in the organized sector. Secondly, CPI for agricultural laborers. This index used to measure the price movement for goods and services consumed by agricultural laborers. It is crucial for adjusting minimum wages in agriculture sector. Thirdly, CPI for rural laborers. It is similar to CPI for agricultural laborers but focused specifically on rural laborers, reflecting the price changes they face. It is used in the wage setting and adjusting in the rural areas. Fourthly, CPI for rural-urban combined. Of these, the first 3 are compiled by Labour Bureau in the Ministry of Labour and Employment. Fourth is compiled by NSO in the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. The base year for CPI is 2012. Recently, Ministry of Labour and Employment released the new series of CPI for industrial workers with the base year 2016. Next, what is WPA? See, WPA tracks the price changes of goods in wholesale market and provides insights into inflationary trend at the producer level before it affects the consumers. The index is compiled and published by the Office of Economic Advisors under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. A major critique of WPA is that it does not directly reflect the price changes experienced by the final consumers since it measures the price at the wholesale level. The base year for all India WPA has been updated to 2011-2012 from the previous 2004-2005. WPA is divided into three major groups. First, primary articles with a weightage of 22.6%. Second is fuel and power with a weightage of 13.2%. And third is manufactured products with the highest percentage of 64.2%. That's all about WPI. Next is Index of Industrial Production, IIP. IIP measures the short-term changes in the volume of production of a basket of industrial products. It indicates the relative change of physical production in the field of industries during a specified year as compared to a base year. Currently, IIP figures are calculated considering 2011-2012 as a base year. It is calculated for a short-term period. That is, the index is computed for a month and released on a monthly basis. The industry group that it measures are classified as broad sectors, namely mining, manufacturing and electricity. Use-based sector, namely basic goods, capital goods and intermediate goods. Note that IIP index is computed and published by NSO. That's all about this article. Let's move on to the next. This news article talks about the various conservation steps taken by the Tamil Nadu Forest Department to protect olive ridley sea turtle that arrive at the TN coast for laying eggs. So in this article discussion, first let us see the facts about turtle and then we shall see the conservation efforts. The relevant syllabus for this particular topic is mentioned here. You can go through it. See, the olive ridley turtle are the smallest and the most abundant of all the sea turtle found in the world. They inhabit the waters of Pacific, Atlantic and Indian Ocean. Know that the name of this turtle comes from the color of its shell. They have an olive green colored shell which is heart-shaped and rounded in appearance. Now let us see the physical features of this turtle. See, the turtle grew to a height of about 2 feet in length and 50 kg in weight. Male and female grow to the same size. However, female have slightly more rounded carapace as compared to the male. Talking about their consumption pattern, they are carnivorous. That is, they are meat eaters and they feed mainly on jellyfish, shrimp, snail, crabs, mollusks and a variety of fish and their eggs. Remember, these turtles spend their entire life in the ocean and migrate thousands of kilometers between feeding and mating grounds in the course of a year. One of the interesting facts is that females return to the very same beach from where they are hatched to lay their eggs. During this phenomenal nesting, up to 6 lakh and more females emerge from the waters over a period of 5 to 7 days to lay eggs. This unique kind of mass nesting is known as aribada. They usually dig a conical nest about 1.5 feet deep with their hind flippers and lay their eggs in the conical nest. The coast of Odisha in India is the largest mass nesting site for olive ridleys, followed by the coast of Mexico and Costa Rica. After about 45 to 65 days, the eggs begin to be hatched, and these beaches will be swamped with a crawling olive ridley turtle babies. Know that the hatchling survival rate is very low due to the risk of predation. It is estimated that approximately 1 hatchling survives to reach adulthood for every 1,000 hatchlings that enter the seawater. This might also be the reason why aribadas happen, in which a single female can lay about 80 to 120 eggs and sometimes even twice in a season. Now let us see about their protection status. The olive ridley sea turtle is listed as a vulnerable under IUCN and also in the Appendix 1 and 2 of CMS. Now let us briefly see about the conservation efforts by TN Forest Department. Firstly, a total of 10 hatcheries has been set up along the Tamil Nadu coast, spread across different districts. These hatcheries aim to provide optimal incubation condition for the eggs of olive ridley turtles to ensure the production of healthy and resilient hatchling. Secondly, scientists have emphasized the importance of temperature in sex determination. Warmer temperature tend to produce more female hatchlings, while the cooler temperature results in more males. So the hatcheries have also been equipped with the data loggers to monitor the temperature continuously. Apart from this, these hatcheries are only a temporary arrangements established during the nesting season. So the department is planning to establish semi-permanent structures that can aid in long-term conservation efforts. That's all about this article. With this, let's move to the next. Look at this Hindu editorial article. Bhutan is planning to develop a new, environmentally friendly and a smart city called Gelipu Mindfulness City on its border with India. This project aim is to boost the regional economy through a non-polluting industry and by enhancing connectivity in South Asia and beyond. However, the project faces various challenges such as geographic, climatic issue, regional security concern, and the need for substantial investment and support, particularly from India. The author says, despite these challenges, the Gelipu project holds a potential to significantly benefit both Bhutan and India. This is the crux of this article. With this, let us learn about India-Bhutan relationship using our mains answer writing approach. Look at this question. Discuss about the significance of India-Bhutan relationship and the challenges therein. The topic comes under main syllabus GS2. Here the question demands us to discuss two parts. One is about the significance of the relationship, another is about the challenges. Firstly, let us write a small introduction. The relationship between India and Bhutan is a long-standing partnership characterized by mutual respect, shared cultural values, and historical ties. This alliance has evolved over the decades, underpinned by cooperation in various sectors and a common vision for regional stability and prosperity. This can be your introduction. Now moving on to the body part, first let us discuss about the significance of the relationship by giving a connecting statement. It goes like this. The India-Bhutan relationship holds an immense significance for Bhutan, such as India is Bhutan's largest trading partner. The substantial growth in trade between two countries from 484 million USD in 2014-2015 to 1.42 billion USD in 2021 and 22 highlights the importance of Indian market for Bhutanese export and its role in Bhutan's economic prosperity. Secondly, India plays a vital role in ensuring Bhutan's security, assisting in border protection and counter-insurgency efforts. This security cooperation is pivotal for maintaining stability in Bhutan. Thirdly, India's unwavering diplomatic support is crucial for Bhutan's international presence. India aids Bhutan in navigating international engagement and has been instrumental in asserting Bhutan's sovereignty on the global stage. Fourthly, since the 1960s, India has significantly contributed to Bhutan's socio-economic development through various forms of assistance, including project-tied support, small developmental projects, and direct budgetary support, reflecting the depth of their partnership. Similarly, for India, Bhutan's strategic location bordering China elevates its importance to India. Bhutan acts as a buffer state and its stance on border negotiation with China, taking into account India's security interest, underscores the strategic depth of their relationship. Secondly, as a strategic ally, Bhutan offers security assistance that are crucial for the stability for India's northeastern states, showcasing the strategic reliance between the two countries. Thirdly, the cultural connection between India and Bhutan through a shared religion, language, and custom enrich their relationship. Bhutan's support for India's cultural diplomacy further strengthens these bonds. Fourthly, the hydroelectric projects benefiting India with clean energy and contributing significantly to Bhutan's revenue and its status as a country with the highest per capita income in South Asia. These are some of the points you can write. Now moving on to the second part, write some of the challenges for this relationship. Firstly, China's increasing influence in the region. This growing presence, especially near the Bhutan's disputed border with China, threatens India's strategic interest in Bhutan. The 2017 Doklam standoff highlights the tension in the India-China-Bhutan tri-junction area. Secondly, while Bhutan and India share a peaceful 699-kilometer border, China's border incursion have raised alarms. The hydroelectric sector, crucial for Bhutan's economy and significantly supported by India, has been a point of contention. Some in Bhutan feel that the deal with India are not in their favor, sparkling opposition. Thirdly, trade between the two nations is another area of concern. India is Bhutan's biggest trading partner, but the trade balance is in India's favor, leading to the calls in Bhutan for better access to the Indian market to reduce the trade deficit. Fourthly, the question of sovereignty and the dependence is a delicate issue. Bhutan values its sovereignty highly, and there is a fine balance between its dependence on India for economic and security reasons and its desire for greater autonomy. This balance is challenged as Bhutan navigates its diplomatic relationship, especially with the growing influence of China. Fifthly, environmental concerns and the shared resource presence challenge. Both countries are located in the region vulnerable to climate change, and their shared rivers and biodiversity necessitate cooperative environmental management. However, differing priorities and capabilities can lead to a tension in these areas. Sixthly, cultural and people-to-people ties, though generally strong, requires continuous nurturing. The modernization and opening up of Bhutan may lead to shift in cultural dynamics and values, potentially creating gaps in understanding between the population of the two countries. Ensuring these ties remain strong in a face of changing social landscape is a crucial for the relationship. This can be your second part of the answer. Now conclude with the way forward as follows. India-Bhutan's relationship stand as a model for peaceful coexistence and mutual respect. To deepen these relationships, we need to focus on enhancing economic ties through increased trade, investment and joint ventures in sectors like infrastructure and tourism. Addressing mutual concerns with China through transparency and dialogue and improving connectivity and defense cooperation. Along with this, promoting environmental collaboration and increasing people-to-people contact will further solidify their bond. That's all about this article. With this, let's move on to the next discussion. Look at this article. March 15th of every year is celebrated as a World Consumer Rights Day. In order to celebrate this occasion, the Consumer Protection Authority is launching an online portal today. This portal will help consumers in filing complaints against the violation for their deficiency in services. This is what the news article is about. In this context, let us learn about Consumer Protection Authority from prelims perspective. You can go through the syllabus relevant to this article in the box given here. Let's start with the Central Consumer Protection Authority, CCPA. CCPA was established under Consumer Protection Act 2019. It works under the administrative control of Ministry of Consumer Affairs. The main function of CCPA is to regulate the matters relating to the violation of rights of consumers. It also keeps an eye on the unfair trade practices and false or misleading advertisement which are prejudicial to the interest of the public and consumers. And it works to promote, protect and enforce the rights of consumers collectively. Let's now talk about its composition. The authority is headed by the Chief Commissioner with the two additional commissioners. One deals with the matters related to goods, the other focuses on the cases related to services. This composition ensures a focused and a specialized approach towards the protection of consumer rights across different sectors. Both the Chief Commissioner or the Commissioners shall hold the office for a term of 5 years from the date from which he assumes the office or until he attains the age of 65, whichever is earlier. They are also eligible for reappointment. Apart from this, CCPA includes an investigation wing led by a Director General to inquire into the violation and a Central Consumer Protection Council as an advisory body on consumer issues. Let us quickly see the powers of the body one by one. Firstly, the CCPA has the authority to inquire into or investigate the matters related to the violation of consumer rights or unfair trade practices upon receiving a complaint or upon the direction from a central government. The CCPA can file complaints before the relevant Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission seeking orders or direction. This includes actions such as recalling unsafe goods and services, reimbursement of the price paid, and the discontinuation of unfair trade practices and misleading advertisement. Thirdly, the CCPA has the power to issue the direction and the guidelines aimed at preventing unfair trade practices and protecting consumer interests. Finally, it can impose penalties for the false and the misleading advertisement, and it can ban the endorser of a false and a misleading advertisement from endorsing any products or services. For example, very recently, CCPA has taken suo motu action against misleading advertisement by coaching institutes. In this regard, CCPA has issued notices to 31 coaching institutions for misleading advertisement and imposed fine on 9 of them. That's all about this article. With this, let's move on to the next. Look at this article. Yesterday, officials of Narcotics Control Bureau, that is NCB, seized incriminating documents from a godown belonging to Jafar Sadiq. He is accused of being a mastermind of an international drug trafficking syndicate. Even though the issue is not very important for our prelims, but NCB is. So let us understand in brief about NCB in this discussion. The relevant syllabus to this article is mentioned here. You can pause the video and go through it. Before you get to know about NCB, you should know some basic. India is a signatory to a single convention on narcotic drugs, 1961, the Convention on Psychotropic Substances, 1971, and the United Nations Convention against Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances, 1988. Apart from this, Article 47 of Indian Constitution directs the state to work towards prohibiting the use of intoxicating substances that are injurious to health, except for medical purposes. All these commitments led to the legislation of three important central acts, that is, Drugs and Cosmetic Act of 1940, the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985, and the Prevention of Illicit Traffic in Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1988. Now let's get into NCB in brief. NCB was constituted in 1986 under Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act 1985. NCB is like a central authority that exercises the power and functions of central government under the Act. So the Bureau is subjected to the supervision and the control of central government. The only vision of the board is to combat illicit trafficking and achieve a drug-free society. Now let us look briefly about the functions of NCB. Firstly, it coordinates with various offices, state government and other authorities under any act in connection with the enforcement provisions of NDPS Act 1985. So basically, NCB collects the data and intelligence, analyze them and understand the mode of operation and closely coordinate with the state police, CBI and other law enforcement agency to combat the drug trafficking. Secondly, it carries out or implements India's commitment to take countermeasures against illicit traffic under numerous international conventions and the protocol that are currently in effect or that India may ratify or join in the future. In simple words, NCB is also the drug law enforcement and intelligence agency of India. It acts like an enforcement agency. Thirdly, it provides assistance to the concerned authorities in foreign countries and concerned international organizations to facilitate coordination and universal action for the prevention and the suppression of illicit traffic in these drugs and substances. Finally, it coordinates actions taken by the other concerned ministers, departments and organizations in respect of the matters relating to the drug abuse. This is because controlling drug abuse is the responsibility of the central government and not the state government. In summary, NCB is the apex coordinating agency responsible for fighting drug trafficking and abuse of illegal substances. It functions under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Officers from Indian Revenue Services, Indian Police Services and paramilitary forces work under NCB. NCB also finds representation on the Economic Intelligence Council. It is also to be noted that NCB is not under the radar of RTI Act 2005. That's all about this article. With this, let's move to the next. Now, we have discussed the most important 6 news articles taken from different news editions. But there are few more articles that needs to be covered today. For instance, there was an Hindu article about poll bonds and another article regarding CIA. Both of these articles have been discussed in brief in our previous sessions. So for your understanding purpose, we are providing you the links in our discussion. Please check it out. Let's now move on to discuss today's MCQs. Consider the following statements with reference to olive ridley turtles. Their population are distributed across the globe except polar region. Their peculiar behavior of synchronized nesting in mass numbers is known as Aribada. Garimata Beach in Odisha is one of their few nesting grounds in the world. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only 1, only 2, all the 3, none of the above. The correct answer to the question is option B, only 2. Statement 1 is wrong, that these turtles are distributed only along the warm waters. Statement 2 and 3 are the correct ones. Look at this question. Consider the following statements regarding Central Consumer Protection Authority. It can prohibit the endorsers of misleading advertisement from endorsing a particular product or service for a period up to 6 months. It is responsible for protecting consumer privacy and prevention of data breaches. The concerned ministry is the Union Ministry of Finance. How many statements are correct? Only 1, only 2, all 3, none. The correct answer is option D, none. Statement 1 is incorrect because the authority can prohibit the endorsers of misleading advertisement from making any endorsement for up to 1 year. Statement 2 is incorrect. Data privacy, data breaches fall under the purview of different regulatory bodies in India. Statement 3 is incorrect because Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution is responsible for this. Look at this question. Consider the following functions of Narcotic Control Bureau, that is NCB. Investigating cases of drug trafficking and abuse. Prosecuting traffickers in court. Raising awareness about the dangers of drug abuse. Regulating the cultivation of opium, poppy. How many of the functions mentioned above is not the function of NCB? Option A, only 1. Option B, only 2. Option C, only 3. Option D, all 4. Correct answer is option A, only 1. Raising awareness about the dangers of drug abuse is not the function of NCB. Look at this question. With reference to India, consider the following statements. The WPA in India is available on a monthly basis only. As compared to CPI for industrial workers, the WPA gives less weight to food articles. Which among the statements given above are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option C, both 1 and 2. Behind me is the today's mains practice question. Interested candidates can write it in the comment section below. If you like this video, please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.